just say a playmaker. Whatever the team needs me to do to win, that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, I think that the film will speak for itself, but at the end of the day, just a competitor.
What did you learn from CJ?
I learned a lot from CJ, on and off the field, physical, mental, everything. It was interesting, being able to spend my first 2 years with him, and he was great about it, open about everything. If I had a question, there was never any hesitation to ask him. And he was always completely honest with me and gave me lots of good advice, so that's something I'm extremely thankful for.
How are you different from, you've been through a quarterback battle before, but you were a true freshman. How is this one maybe different? How are you approaching this one different than you did the first time?
I think now when I came in the first one, you have no experience. You don't have any practices under your belt. You don't have a season under your belt. Now going to year 3, which is crazy to think about. You have a lot more experience, a lot more reps, whether that's in practice or the game, and you kind of understand what the coaches are looking for. So I think just that experience speaks volumes, I think, in terms of looking back on where I am now and where I was when I first got here.
What are you taking from that? I know it's not a lot of passes, but what are you taking from that experience that can actually help you in this battle?
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of things, whether it's, leading the team, whether it's, how to manage the game, how to prepare for a game, just things like that. And I think as well just how to prepare for a practice. Obviously it's not going to be the same type of preparation for a game, but there's definitely some preparation that goes into a practice, which when you first get here, you show up to high school practice and you don't really think too much about it. You might not even watch film on it, but now going back, watching the film and refining, so just all things like that.
You mentioned that CJ gave you some advice. What's one thing that he specifically said to you that you find helpful?
There's a ton. I would say when it comes to just reads, he saw the field really well. So when it came to different plays and stuff like that that we have in, I think he did a great job of letting me know what he was looking at pre-snap, and then at the snap of the ball, if the defender does this and I'm looking here, but if he goes there, I'm looking here, just things like that. And literally in every single play in the playbook, I think he's given me some knowledge about that, so it was good.
Can you take us through how you feel in the pocket, making reads, doing that kind of thing, and then how you feel out of the pocket, off platform when the play breaks down?
Yeah, I feel great in the pocket. This offseason, I've really been trying to study some guys like Burrow, Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and watching them. You turn on their tape. One thing about them in the pocket, they're always on balance, no matter what's going around them. If they make a quick, sudden movement, they're getting right back on platform. So those things were really good to study, and then come out and get some reps in, just working out and stuff like that. And then in terms of getting outside the pocket, I think that's something I've always been pretty comfortable with, and something obviously I work at a lot. So I think just the two of them, and obviously getting the feel of when are you able to make a move in the pocket, or when do you have to escape in the pocket. I think that's always something the more reps at you get better at.
I guess what do you think you do? He wished he would have maybe run a little bit more, use his legs a little bit more. I wonder if that may be something that you might take to heart as you're
I think watching the film, you go back, and I think the Georgia game is a great example of when, like I was just talking about, when do you have room to make a move in the pocket and step up and throw, or when do you have to get out and make a play. And I think that was a clinic tape from CJ. So that's something that I've been studying. I think I've watched that game probably 5 to 10 times, something like that, just because there's so many good plays in that game. But yeah, I think definitely when it's there, take it. But then at the same time, with the weapons that we have, wanting to keep my eyes up and get the ball to our playmakers.
Do you ever have to remind yourself that as fun as it is to be out of structure and making the crazy off-platform throws, that it's way more important to be sound in structure and need to be really good at that in order to be able to get to the off-structure thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the off-structure throws are fun to watch, and you see them all over social media when guys make them. But in order to do that, I think you have to be extremely focused on making the routine throws and having your feet set and being good fundamentally. And then once you have that down, you can build on it to get those crazy throws.
What do you think you do best? What's the one thing when Coach Tay says, give me what you want to do? What is that?
I don't know if I could put a finger on it, to be honest. I think just being a competitor, I think, is extremely important. And I think, you look at last year, we played some teams that gave us different looks, which require you to run different things. And then, you're going to have a game like Northwestern where you can't really throw the ball that much. And, you have to compete in other ways, whether it's run the ball like CJ did last year. So I don't know if I could really put a finger on it, but I would just say just competing. That would be the biggest thing.
Because Ohio State fans have seen you in very limited action. The Akron game, and then in games last year where you didn't really didn't let you turn you loose, put it mildly.
Yeah.
From Ohio State fans said, okay, what's this guy like? What's he do? What's he comfortable doing? I mean, what would you say to that?
I guess time will tell, to be honest. I could sit up here and say, what I want to do and what I want to accomplish, but at the end of the day, I think the film will speak for itself when that time comes.
Kyle, I don't mean to belabor the point, but like, how would you evaluate that part of the mobility part of your game? How comfortable are you with it? How good do you think you can handle that if you have to?
Yeah, I think once I got to college, I think you realize that, in order to play at this level, you have to be a good athlete. And so that's one of the things with Coach Mick and his staff I've been focusing on, just the speed and agility. And it's not necessarily, how fast is your 40 time. I think a lot of it is, how quickly can you, take a hard reset and get back on platform, or can you evade the rush and get outside the pocket and extend the play. So just working in ways like that, I think, have been a pivotal point of my training, and I think Coach Mick and staff have done a great job of that.
I know that you don't pay any attention to this, but outside, it's like the perception is Devin can do all those things, and then you are the pocket passer. If you've paid any attention to that, does that annoy you? Do you think that you don't get enough credit for what you could do athletically?
No, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think you saw it with CJ. I mean, they'll say anything, and I think CJ did a good job of just letting it roll off his back. So if that's one thing I'll take from CJ, just they can say whatever. It is what it is.
You brought up the Georgia game, and you said you've watched that game multiple times at this point, and it felt like that aspect, the off-platform stuff, the running element was maybe more emphasized in that game than any other game CJ played here.
Yeah.
Has that become a more emphasized in the room just because of how that game played out, or is that game why you felt like that needed to be a bigger part of what you're doing?
I think going into that game, we knew that that's what type of game it was going to be. They had a great D-line. So when the pocket was clean, great, just do what we do. But, I think there were multiple plays where, things weren't perfect, and he scrambled out and made, I think he had 2 touchdowns on the run, if I'm not mistaken, and then had a few big runs. So I think it really is the flow of the game. But going into that week, I think we had a pretty good idea that he was going to have to do some stuff like that, which he did, obviously. But I think, like you said, that I don't know if we would say it's a point of emphasis now, but definitely something after watching that game, like that's what it's going to take to beat those type of teams.
A big part of being quarterback here is not just what you do on the field; it's handling all the circus around it. How well do you think you deal with that part of it? The criticism that'll be justified, the criticism that won't be justified, just being in that pitchfork. Yeah,
I think it comes with the territory. Anytime you play at a big school like this, I think that's one of the biggest blessings and, a curse at the same time. And you have to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, you have a great game, the media's going to say great things about you. You have a bad game, they're going to say that, you're not the answer, whatever it is. So I think, you just have to take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously it's hard to avoid if you go on social media, so I just try to stay off of it a little bit. And I think, you just have to, at the end of the day, remind yourself, like, don't get too high, don't get too low, just stay steady in the boat.
Kyle, two of the three starting receivers from last year, presumably going to start again this year, are out for the spring. So as you're trying to prove that you're the best quarterback on the roster, but in a way, the starting wide receivers aren't the guys that you're throwing to right now. How do you kind of compartmentalize that in your brain?
Yeah, I think for me, we're really deep at receiver. I think that's one of the deepest positions we have on this team, and I think the young guys are stepping up quite nicely, which is good, honestly. I mean, we know what Mac and Julian can both bring to the table. I think it gives other guys a chance to step up and make some plays, and already on the first day they've shown that they can. But I've been throwing with all the guys all off season, so I think we really haven't missed a beat. And the first day it was really good. They went out and made some good plays.
Kyle, how much have you dreamt about teaming up with Marvin again now in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, it was funny when we first started playing with each other, my sophomore year of high school. I mean, it's something that we always talked about, and obviously it's crazy the way everything worked itself out, us both being here, and I'm definitely excited to be able to play with him. I mean, I didn't get a lot of reps with him last year just because he was going with the ones with CJ. But the chemistry is definitely still there. I throw with him a bunch. It's my best friend. It's funny, I tell him if I was athletic enough to play DB, I'd be able to lock him down because I know of his moves, which he laughs at. But no, it's good. I mean, it's always fun to play with a guy like that, his caliber, and as well as your best friend. So
what's changed about his game just in the last couple of years that you've noticed now throwing to him regularly again?
Yeah, it's funny looking back. I remember we watched, I think it was his sophomore year high school tape, and he was obviously a great receiver then, but just got bigger, stronger, faster, quicker. I think his football IQ is at the next level now, and it's funny, like talking to him, I think he sees the field like a quarterback, which is something that not a lot of guys that I've played with have had. And after a play, go back and talking to him. I mean, he knows what I'm seeing, and I think that helps with him getting open, and I think that has really allowed him to take his game to the next level. I mean, obviously on top of his work ethic.
How cool is to have a guy with that kind of catch radius, though? I mean, the way.
Yeah, I mean, if
it's not just him. It's like.
Yeah, you just put it in his area code, and he's gonna go get it. But I mean, that's something that he's been doing since high school. Yeah. So I think everybody else is surprised but me.
Does that actually
you have a start and a win under your belt, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of leg up does that give you, do you think, just realistically in this race?
Yeah, I've talked about it before, but I think just getting a start, it's obviously a lot different than practice. I mean, you can prepare for the looks you think you're going to get based on film. You can prepare for different defenses, but at the end of the day, when the ball's put down, and you're in there, it's you're going to have to deal with some stuff on the fly. So just getting that experience was good. Making some good plays, making some bad plays, and learning from it, I think really helped me, especially at that point so early in my career. I think it's very important experience to get.
When you deal with a QB competition, you guys are obviously great friends, but you're going for one job. How is that mentally? How do you guys interact off the field and with the competition?
No, I mean, me and Devin are really close. We're really close, and I think we both know what it is. But I think that's the beauty of it. I think all off season we've been pushing each other, which is good. I mean, he's definitely gotten me better, and I've definitely gotten him better. So I think it's a very beneficial relationship on both sides. And obviously, we both know what we're going for, but at the end of the day, it's just a really good competition, and I think it's bringing the best out of me and the best out of him as well.
How much competition happens outside of practice? I mean, do you feel like this is almost a 24/7 thing? Maybe not while you're sleeping, but beyond practice, when you're in the weight room, when you're just hanging out with guys, do you feel like that's still being evaluated?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't think of it like that. I think, if we're in the weight room, we're out here, we're going to be competing with each other. We're competing with each other last year, even though there wasn't a job on the line. I mean, that's just always how it's going to be, especially at a place like this where it's highly competitive in every area. But like I said, I think, we're definitely bringing the best out of each other, which is good. And that's what you want at the end of the day. I mean, you don't want to be handed anything. You want to have to be able to work for it. And I think, we both understand that. And I think, it's honestly brought us closer.
All right, thank you, Kyle.
Yeah, appreciate it.